Hello, everyone, and welcome to Shitcast.
Oh, we're recording.
We are.
Hello.
Okay, tonight we are going to take a couple of steps back a couple of weeks because we went and saw a few movies in the last 2 weeks, and unfortunately we've had a busier than usual life, and
Some catching up to do.
we got a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah.
And tonight we're talking about the first Omen.
Prequel to the original Omen, the 1976 movie.
But this is the first one, so how can it be a prequel to the Omen when this is the first Omen? That means it's Omen 1.
Isn't that why it's a prequel?
Is it?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not a sequel,
No, it's a prequel.
but it's the fifth film in the series.
Yes,
Okay,
but it's a prequel.
it's a prequel.
Yes. And it's very, very, very good.
I'll shoot your load.
What? It is.
It
It's
is.
good.
It is actually very good. For a good week, it was actually my favourite film of the year.
I wouldn't go that far.
Well, Immaculate is pretty hard to beat.
It's very similar in theme to Immaculate, which we'll get into.
So yeah, we should probably drop the teaser trailer here.
Yes.
You must be very careful, Margaret. Bad things will start to happen. Evil things.
It's all you. No, don't.
The first Omen. I believe the girl is to be the mother.
Mother of what?
Is the most terrifying. 666 is the mark of the devil. Movie of the year.
It's not real. It's not real. What's not real? Who said that?
The first Omen. Rated R. Only in theaters April 5th.
And now you've seen that. Hey, welcome back. Okay, so the plot revolves around a sister,
Yes. It's,
not a brother.
No. It's, hold on. Sister Margaret.
Marguerite.
No, it's just Margaret.
Is it Margaret?
Margaret.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. Well, okay, it's set in Rome in 1971, and if you know anything about politics, Rome was not the place to be if you're a young person, or the place to be if you're a young person, because there's a lot of riots about from students and things, student debts going up, and the corruption of the government and all that kind of stuff. And so there's a lot of stuff in the background that actually comes to the foreground, and it's done so palatable. It's
Completely makes sense.
it does.
Yeah.
And one influences the other, because you've got the church, which is the old state, but not clashing, but sort of being confronted with the young generation, the young state, if you want to call it, of young people, the young hip people, and it's sort of like.
And it's introduced right at the beginning of the movie. We open with Father Brennan, who's the priest in the original Omen movie, played by a different actor this time,
Well, it
obviously.
has to be.
Yes, because,
Patrick Troughton died,
yeah,
and he plays Father Brennan, and
quite
Father,
convincingly.
yeah,
as
and
Father Brennan.
He's
He's,
he's an Irish character.
yes.
I don't think Patrick Troughton was Irish. I'm not too sure, but this
His character was Irish.
character is Irish.
Yeah.
And he was Doctor Who for all those playing at home.
So we open with him pressing Father Harris, played by Charles Dance, in a lovely cameo.
Eight ball.
An occult conspiracy. And Father Harris gives Father Brennan a photograph of a baby with the name Skiana inscribed. And soon after that, Father Harris is tragically killed when a falling pipe splits his head open.
And that's a foreshadowing, because we're not going to spoil the Omen.
Yeah,
But
if you've seen The Omen, it's
You know exactly what that is in
it's
reference to.
Yeah, exactly.
And
this movie is very clever with how it pieces these two movies together.
It's basically, it's one big story. And David Seltzer, I think that's how you pronounce his name.
Yes.
He created the screenplay, I think, first, and then he wrote the book off the screenplay. And that book just because The Exorcist was so darn popular, it just flew off the shelves. And we won't go into what The Omen is about because we'll eventually talk about those films.
Yes.
But the first Omen, is this young sister Margaret comes to Rome from America after you see Father Brennan talking.
She's not actually a sister. She's
an initiate.
She's what they call a novitate.
Novitate,
Yeah,
an
so
initiate
she's-
sort of. Yeah,
So she wants to be
a nun.
a nun, but she arrives at the Visadelli orphanage.
Which is they sort of like almost have to pay homage to the poor and the sick and the elderly.
Yeah.
Just like in orphanage as well.
Yeah.
Not orphanage, immaculate.
Yeah.
They are put into service before they become nuns.
Yeah.
And so they learn a life of servitude.
Yeah, and there she meets Cardinal Lawrence. There's a Father Gabriel, Sister Sylvia, which is the older nun, and her roommate, and who is apparently a fellow novitate, Luz, and another nun named Angelica. And the movie sort of kicks off where Margaret's introduced to this orphanage and she's shown around, and then Luz sort of invites her out to a party.
Well, I mean, her philosophy is like, you only have got one life to live.
Yeah.
So why not, before becoming a nun, go out, have a great time, don't do anything too wild, but just live life so
Have
you
fun.
know what you're either missing out on or what you can talk about. Because if you've got no life experience, you've got nothing to. There's no yardstick for you.
And just making sure that becoming a nun is the right
thing.
decision.
And she actually questions it quite a lot.
So we are led to believe.
Yeah, but
anyway.
don't say that. That's signposting, woman.
Well, we're going to get into that anyway.
Okay.
But Margaret goes out clubbing with Luz, and she meets a lovely boy by the name of Paolo. And
He was actually a really cool character
Yeah.
because there's another guy in it and he comes off really creepy.
yeah,
And-
but Paolo's a nice guy, and she dances with him before blacking out, and
She just has too much to drink and
Yeah.
and you know the
wakes
typical
up
thing.
in her bed the next
she's
morning
white
with
girl
a
wasted.
hangover.
Yeah, she's white girl
Exactly.
wasted because she's never had alcohol before because she grew up in was it an orphanage or?
I'm not sure, but she's had a very
Sheltered life.
Sheltered life.
Yeah.
She hasn't.
She was because that was
wasn't
the priest that got her over there. No, I'm thinking of Immaculate. Aren't I?
Yeah, you're thinking of
Oh,
Immaculate.
oops.
Yeah.
It's
It is a very
horribly
similar movie.
similar story. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
But thinking back on this film, I've got flashbacks to Immaculate. I'm thinking, hold on, the girl I'm thinking about is blonde, not brunette.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, oh, that's Sydney Sweeney. Oh, that's the wrong film. And it unfortunately has come out at the very similar time. And I just want to go on a tragedy here. The first Omen it was made for like $9 million or $15 million. I can't remember how much. And it's only just this weekend after the second week got its budget back. So
The first Omen was actually made for
$30
$30
million.
million.
Yeah,
It
and
has just now made $35.4
35, yeah,
million.
this weekend,
Yeah.
and it's so unfortunate because guys, go run it like after this. Don't even just pause it right here. Go to the cinema and watch it, then come back.
Yeah, it was projected to make 14 million in its opening weekend,
And it didn't.
And then made some ridiculous amount, like I think 750,000 or something on its first night. So they changed the projection down to 8 million or something.
Which it's really
its
weird
opening
because
weekend.
for a series that started in 75 with 75, 76.
Yeah,
Yeah, with Richard Donner of Superman fame, for a film that got Oscar winning actors and it's a masterpiece of a movie. Actually, no, I won't go that far. It's a damn good movie. It's a damned good movie. Yeah. To see it actually fare not very well at the cinema is sort of heartbreaking. I mean, I went and saw Omen 4: The Awakening at the cinema because it was a TV movie that came out at the cinema here, and I went to the movies, and that actually made a little bit of bank.
Yeah, people are just not into religious horror at the moment, I guess.
It's
Immaculate hasn't
stupid.
done very well.
All they want
either.
to see is
Go see both of these
psychos
movies, guys.
psychos in ski masks hacking up young virgins. That's all they want to bloody see.
Something like that.
Art the Clown, go see Art the Clown, go. Just see this as well.
Yes.
Expand your
Give it a
mind.
bit of love. It's worth it.
Anyway, getting back to it.
Yeah. So, Margaret wakes up with a bit of a hangover and
Doesn't have alcohol in it, I swear.
things sort of continue on in the orphanage as normal. She befriends an orphan there by the name of Carlita, who
You would say nowadays that Carlita is on the spectrum.
yeah, she's a bit
Autistic.
yeah, she's a bit different, and she's kind of told to stay away from her. She's not told why. She's just told that Carlita's a bit strange
And they
maybe
really are,
a bit evil.
but they're putting their agenda on Carlita. Realistically, they're actually the ones that are making what they want Carlita to be, like saying you should stay away from everyone because she's evil. Girl's not evil. She's just got stuff happening,
Yeah.
which we're not going to say what stuff's happening.
Well, we are.
Oh.
We're just not going to say yet.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I get too excited, guys. I'm sorry.
But she sort of continues on. Strange things start happening. She starts having visions. She's out in the courtyard one day, and Carlita is showing one of the other nuns, Angelica, a drawing of a pregnant woman being restrained.
Oh, the one that looks like Mia Goth.
Yeah, and then moments later, Angelica goes up to the second floor and hangs herself.
It's all
again, if you've seen the original
Yeah.
Omen.
She says, "This is all for you."
Yeah.
And if you've seen the original Omen, you'll know exactly what that's
Except
referring
in
to.
this time, she doesn't just hang herself; she sets herself on fire. as well.
Emoliates.
Yeah,
It's disturbing because there's obviously CG, and maybe a puppet or whatever, like a mannequin, but there was movement in.
Oh, yeah.
In that, and it actually looked like someone was on fire.
yeah.
I was like, good fire
Yeah, and
effects.
the puppet that landed was practical as well,
And you saw
just
the blood come out even though it was on fire. It was
gruesome,
like,
very
this
gruesome.
is awesome.
But strange things start happening within the orphanage, and Margaret starts to learn that things are not quite what they seem. Father Brennan has a bit of a chat with her and basically says, due to the rise of secularism in the country, the radicals in the church are seeking to bring on the Antichrist to scare people, basically, and bring
come
them back
back
to
to
the
the religion.
church.
'Cause that's going to work
Yeah, so it's a bit of a hint of things to come. Like,
in the Omen.
yes. But
It's well, I hate being so caged. I just want to say, if you know the name Damien,
yes.
you'll know what we mean.
Yes. Can we talk much more about it without going into spoilers?
We could actually give a spoiler warning right now and say, okay, guys, if you don't want this film spoiled at all, stop now and watch the rest of this when you've seen the movie.
Yeah.
Or if you don't mind spoilers, we don't mind spoiling it. Just we can't rope ourselves in, guys. This is burning because you can't talk about this film without
without
spoilers.
talking about spoilers, really.
Because it is
Yeah.
such a greatly conceived and executed movie. It is a what do you call it? You pull a piece of thread,
Yeah.
and the entire thing unraveling just is beautiful. It actually is a beautiful mystery. But it's not a mystery if you've read the original book and seen the films, but you know what's going to happen. And here is spoilers.
So you know what's going to happen in a sense, but you don't know that it's going to unravel
in the way it does.
in the way that it does.
I'm going to call her spoiler girl, by the way, because she loves spoilers and I hate them.
We find out that the reason she's told to stay away from Carlita is that perhaps she is
The child of
the spawn of Satan. And she has been chosen to birth the Antichrist because for some reason, we're not quite told why, but over the course of figuring things out over the last 20-something years, I think it is, that in order to bring forth the actual the actual Antichrist, the devil has to mate with his own spawn.
But the devil is represented in this film by a jackal, which is a dog-like creature. Mm-hmm. It gets into some sticky stuff there because, I mean, they're basically talking about bestiality.
Bestiality, yeah.
And that bestiality, you still got to have, that beast has got to have sex with its own spawn, which is incest.
Yeah.
So you got bestiality and incest in a film about religion bringing on the Antichrist. Yeah. You feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You feel like, I shouldn't be watching this.
But also,
this is like watching a New Zealand film.
It makes things that you find out make a lot of sense because Margaret goes on to find out that Carlita is actually one of many who were created.
Just like in Immaculate, there's like a series of births that don't happen.
Of attempted births.
And
with the code name Skiana, all of the babies.
Firstborn, I think that's...
I think so.
Yeah. I don't speak Italian, sorry guys.
But none of them survived except for Carlita.
Mm.
Or so...
We're led to believe.
Margaret is led to believe.
And also... I'm not going to go that far. Yeah, you go.
Well, she continues to start having horrible visions, and she meets Paolo in the street one day. She hasn't seen him.
Well, during these rites, they're actually in a museum. All of the kids in the orphanage and the nuns and Novitates. They're all in things, and she's basically trying to be friends with Carlita because she sees a kindred spirit, like a kid that is shunned, and she was shunned as well, and you can see it. And then as they're there, they're coming, like they're walking around the beautiful museum and all that, or I think it might be the basilica. Their riots start to break out, and I'm not talking about like, these people just like going, we won't go. Yeah. Now these are actually like cars flipping and explosions and stuff. I'm sitting there going, wow, this is
people's lives
awful.
are in danger.
Real danger, like not just movie danger. Like it looks dangerous. The stunts that they're doing, it's great. Yeah. I was like, well, they put some effort in this bloody movie.
But during the course of that, she runs into Paolo on the street, and she hasn't seen him since this night out. So she's like, oh, hi.
She gets separated from the nuns and stuff. She doesn't go back with them.
And Paolo doesn't want to talk to her.
At all,
for some reason. He's anxious to get away from her, and he's very apologetic. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know this was going to happen. And Margaret's like, what are you talking about? And Paolo sort of backs away onto the street, and he just sort of cryptically says,
"Look for the mark."
Look for the mark, and then he's hit by a car.
It's that old, you're looking one way, and then something comes out from the other. Yeah. And look for the mark is actually another line from the original Omen movie, which I was sitting there going, "What?" Yeah.
So
I wasn't drunk, I swear.
So something else happened. I can't remember exactly what it is, but
I mean, he gets pinned up against the wall by a car, and it's great because she's holding him, like trying to soothe him and all that, and she moves away, and she realizes she's got half of a body.
Yeah, that's right. She tries to sort of pull him out from behind the car, and she thinks she's got him.
And as she's pulling, you hear this on the soundtrack. You hear this. Like, you just hear this tearing and stuff. And I'm thinking, and she doesn't realize that she's just ripped him in half.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. The practical effects are great in this.
But she gets back to the church, and there's a scene that happens. I can't remember exactly what it is, but there's a scuffle, and during that she sees into Carlita's mouth.
Oh, because trying to put Carlita away in a different room because like she's trying to get to Carlita, and
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
But
she's into her mouth because Carlita's like having a fit or something, and she's like that, and she goes like
see what is Margaret sneaks into Sister Sylvia's office
and steals.
and she uncovers a hidden underground chamber with a series of subject files all labelled Skiana. And each file contains a photo of a disfigured baby with a birthmark in the shape of 3 sixes, with Carlita as seemingly the only survivor. So she basically she intercepts Carlita and she noticed that she does have the mark of 666 on her palate.
Yeah.
Before they take her away.
Not Bob Ross palette, guys.
Yeah, top of her mouth. After that, Margaret sort of does a bit more digging and she finds out that Carlita was actually not the only baby that survived.
Dun, dun,
there was one more baby. And it's at that point that she sort of remembers Paolo saying, look for the mark, and she starts
looking at herself,
checking over herself and has a feel up in her hair, and it's like, uh-oh. Turns out she's also one of Satan's spawn.
Oh,
and
so her dad was a jackal.
She was actually brought to the orphanage early. It was originally meant to be Carlita that they were going to choose, but because of the riots that are happening and the rise of secularism, they decided they needed to bring on the Antichrist early.
Because Carlita's a little bit too young.
A bit too young. She's still a child, so she's not old.
They have some morals.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's that they have morals. It's just that she's not able to bear children yet. She's literally that young.
Like
she's still a
14, 15.
child.
They used to have kids when they were like 12 back in the medieval times.
Depends. Some people don't go through puberty.
Maybe there's a little bit. I'm just trying to
I don't think
give
they
them
have
a
morals. It's
benefit of the
literally
doubt.
that she's too young. So they bring on Margaret instead. And
But we find out that Margaret already is pregnant.
yeah, it turns out the night she blacked out with good reason. And
Black Phillip.
yeah, she has a memory of
Eyes, the blackest eyes,
Yes,
the devil's eyes.
The devil's eyes of being brought down to a chamber and sexually assaulted by the jackal.
It's just
She
so
wakes
fucked
up
up.
and she finds, just like an immaculate, she's pregnant.
Yeah, with the spawn of Satan.
With the spawn of Satan.
Just like the girl in Immaculate.
And
But don't let that put you off.
Father Brennan and another younger priest, I forget his name, they decide to help her out. She's like, oh, I've got to abort this. I've got to get rid of this. And they
Because she's only like a month.
she's only just pregnant. So they pop her in a car, take her down to the hospital, and unfortunately they get into a car accident on the way.
Not a car accident. Purposely ran off the road.
Yeah. And she
priest.
hops out of the car, and the next several minutes are just
Amazing.
absolute masterclass of
This
acting.
girl better get an Academy
What's her
Award
name?
nomination.
It's Nell.
Free.
Nell.
Hope free.
No. Nell Tiger Free. She was on season 5 and 6 of Game of Thrones.
Right. Which I didn't actually watch. I don't think
No,
five and
neither did
6. But yeah, she's amazing. This is a masterclass.
Yeah,
really of body horror, contortion.
Yeah, she doesn't
Pain.
get the chance to abort this baby because after the car crash she hops out and something
He's wrong.
is wrong. Something just happens to her. Something.
And are they near a church?
I think they are they're just outside the church.
Yeah, because they were going to go into the church, and she's
She doesn't
heading
make
into
it.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's trying to walk into the church, and it's
Yeah.
like something is stopping her,
Yeah.
and at the same time, something is growing.
inside her. So there's all this contortion and horrible noises, and all of a sudden her belly starts to grow, and
She
goes
basically
from
goes
being
1 month pregnant to
about
9.
ready to pop. Yeah. And Cardinal Lawrence and Sister Sylvia capture her and bring her back to the orphanage to prepare for
The
her-
underground of the orphanage.
the underground of the orphanage to prepare for her giving birth to the Antichrist.
Which they don't care about her
Yeah.
as much as they want to make sure they get
Yeah.
their
And it is really hard to watch.
Oh,
this
there was
scene.
actually a birthing scene earlier on in the movie,
Oh, that's right.
and I totally forgot it up till this minute.
Yeah.
There is a birthing scene where you see a hand come through a vagina.
Yeah.
And I sat there going, is this MA or R-rated? Because I've never seen an actual vagina on a film, an actual mainstream movie before. And I'm like going,
I'm a registered nurse. So
she sees it all the time.
I've seen some stuff, and I've seen a lot of birthing videos, but I must admit, even I found this confronting because not only was it creepy,
it was gross.
accurate. Just
Do you see the vulva like push
just
out
the
and
way
stuff?
the way
Oh.
everything opens up, and stuff comes out, and
Reminded me of science class in high school.
It is. Whoever did the practical effects for that,
Amazing. Like
spot on.
yeah, and it
It was nauseating.
yeah. And I have not had such a confrontational experience at a cinema, and I thought Immaculate was just mind blowing.
Yeah.
But this, I mean, Immaculate is a higher tier movie.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. But there's a difference between best and favorite. There always has been for me, and everything that was going on from that scene to the practicality of Father Harris at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like he turns around and he's got like half of his brain's been taken out by a pole, a spire. And it's just like it's such a horror film.
Yeah.
If you wanted to say this is a psychological thriller or a supernatural thriller, you're full of shit. This is a horror film.
It's a psychological horror, a spiritual horror.
Yeah.
But it's a horror film.
It's like saying to all those movies that try and disguise themselves, it's like no. This is.
And if you think the birth in Immaculate is bad, oh boy.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Oh.
See, poor Sister Margaret actually doesn't get the opportunity to give birth naturally. They want to ensure that they get the Antichrist out. So they numb her up and they cut her open, and you hear everything.
You
You
see
see everything.
flaps of skin. Ugh.
Yeah, and
It was great.
yeah, I mean, thankfully they numb her up enough. That's the one thing that's not medically accurate. They numb her up with something that I'm going to assume is morphine or
Heroin.
or
Because
something
she starts
like
to
that.
smile. As soon as she almost immediately she smiles.
Yeah.
And that's got to be heroin.
Yeah, heroin is,
Not that I've
is a
ever
great
had it, guys. I've
painkiller,
never had it, but
it's not going to stop you from feeling being cut open by a blade. You need an epidural for that.
we really have to talk to someone who's taken heroin to be able to say, would you be able to give birth?
No, you
while
can't.
in heroin?
You can't.
Yeah,
No,
because I'm just like thinking, Jesus, there's no amount of tramadol on this planet that would take that
You
pain away.
actually have to numb the nerves.
Don't you have to have epidural? isn't it?
Yeah, epidural. You actually have to have the medication in the spine.
Yeah. Oh
anyway,
man. Sorry to go on a
Apparently,
tangent.
heroin works in this movie. It's fine, whatever.
Must have been some good brown sugar.
Yeah.
Got it from Mick Jagger.
So she doesn't feel everything, but we as an audience do
Whoa.
because we see it.
It's very visceral.
And out pops two babies, a girl and a boy.
So Damien has a sister.
Damien has a sister. Yes, and we're told.
Well, that's a really good twist, though.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I didn't see it coming.
Yeah, we're told pretty quickly that the girl is nothing. That's the boy. They're after the boy is the Antichrist, and Luz, the other who we think is a novitate, who actually turns out
like
to be
She actually does become a nun during it.
Yeah.
Because Margaret can't be a nun. She can't.
yeah, but she was in on the whole conspiracy.
Yeah, she was in it from the beginning.
From the beginning, and she actually stabs Margaret and
Tries to take the baby.
tries to take the girl away, but Margaret sort of somehow fights back, and she kills Cardinal Lawrence, and I think she goes to kill Damien, but she can't bring herself to do it.
Because that's a kid. I mean, it might be the Antichrist, but still,
Yeah.
it's a kid.
So she manages to escape with her daughter, and
With Carlotta.
and then Sister Sylvia grabs Damien, and the end of the movie is her handing him over to Robert Thorne, who, if you've seen the original Omen,
Gregory Peck.
was played by Gregory Peck, and it's
He's not in it.
he's not in it, but they
But
show
it's
they
the
show
scene
his picture.
right before you see
Yeah.
him being given Damien. It's literally the scene before. It's like a deleted scene from
Yeah.
The Omen. It is. It's and it looks exactly the shot composition and the actual look of the film.
Yeah,
It's perfect.
yeah, it's spot on. So, yeah, we. It
Oh, and-
pretty much ends
Oh,
where
well,
the Omen
Father
starts
Brennan.
off.
Father Brennan goes to a
Yeah.
cabin in the wilderness or wherever it is.
Where
with
Margaret has
Margaret-
gone off to hide
with
her daughter
Carlita.
and Carlita.
And he says, "You've got to help me. We've got to kill the boy."
Yeah.
And all that.
beware, they know
know
you're
you were
alive,
here.
and they're coming
And
for
he
you.
says, "Oh, and by the way, the boy has a name, Damien."
Damien.
And then bang,
That's the end of the
end of the
movie.
movie. Oh, I got chills thinking about it. What a great movie!
It is. It's the only thing that is a little bit confusing if you're relating it to the original Omen is that in that movie,
The mother was a jackal.
no,
Well, the mother was a jackal. That's what they said.
No,
the mother was.
the mother was buried next to a jackal. She was actually
No, but they said the mother was a jackal. Because that's what he's shouting
Yeah.
in the storm.
yeah.
And he says, "Yeah, the mother was a jackal."
Yeah. But even if she wasn't, she's dead and buried next to what is Robert Thorne's actual
Baby.
child.
But we didn't get up to that scene in The Omen, so I can't remember or not if it was a human skeleton in that crypt.
Me either. But I know he's
We'll
buried,
get back to you on that one.
Yeah. But he's buried next to
A jackal.
whether it's a jackal or a human, it is buried next to a baby boy, which is Robert Thorne's actual
Son.
son.
They kill Robert Thorne's son.
Yeah, that's it.
This is the fucked up thing. They
Yeah.
actually kill his son so they can insert Damien into that life.
yeah,
It's so fucked.
pretty gross.
Pardon my French.
So
but,
there's no mention of an actual mother or a sister in the Omen, but
well, that's
it's
a
a good twist.
It's a good writing there because it's like, well, we didn't know about it for 49 years.
yeah,
Yeah, 49 years. Oh God. And it's like, well, if we didn't know about it, obviously none of the characters in the films knew about it.
yeah,
So they could actually, like, if this girl comes, she'd be 50 now. Well, 49. So that's an age where you could rise to power if you were evil, or if Damien is around at this time, right? Because in the books, Damien becomes the president of the United States, an evil president of the United States. Who could have thought of that?
it's not frightening to think about at all.
It hasn't happened before.
It's not based on reality at all.
At all.
It's fine.
Good on you, David
We're all
Seltzer.
fine.
You predictable little and it's sort of like The Simpsons, The Omen,
I know.
and even Stephen King with The Dead Zone.
I know.
They all predict an evil president of the United States, and look what happened.
Anyway, so what are we going to give this movie out of 10?
I'm giving it the almost highest ranking I can give it.
Really?
It's 9.5.
You give me a 9.5.
I loved it. Immaculate to me was a 10 out of 10, but I actually liked this more than Immaculate. I know Immaculate's a better movie. It's weird. I know it's a better made film, a better acted film. I know it in total is a better movie, but this was for 1 week my favorite movie of the year.
So I'm going to give it an 8.5
Fair.
because I do think Immaculate is a better movie, and I gave that a 9. Both are not perfect movies, and I found the first Omen had a little bit of pacing issues in the second half for me, anyway.
I didn't.
But I mean, I thought the original Omen had a few pacing issues.
It actually does. We watched it the next night. We only got like 3/4 of the way through it, and it does have pacing
So
issues.
because of that, I'm bringing it down to an 8.5, but still highly recommend seeing this movie if you love psychological horror, if you like your
Religious
spiritual
horror.
horror, if you like body horror.
Religious horror.
Yeah, there's.
Oh yeah.
Please go see this movie. Give it some love because it's not getting
Any
the
love.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a shame. So, from me, everyone out there, get some holy water and stay hydrated.
And remember, leggings are not pants.
Bye.